Another Milk Crate moment. I'm Jean Kuhn, the host, and today I have with me Angie Cole and Coley.
Coley, yep.
Coley, I'm sorry, Angie. I hate when I pronounce somebody's name incorrectly. And Angie is a business mentor for rule breakers and rebels. And listen,
Mhm.
I love that. I love the fact that and listen, there's enough of them out there, isn't there, Angie?
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
who wants to follow the rules? The rules don't pay off,
Well,
right?
especially when you're in a creative business, that's predominantly who I work with, people who are copywriters, artists for hire, any photographers, things like that. The way that we do business is a little bit different from a corporate office or traditional business, and there's a lot more freedom and flexibility. So, why not build it your own way? It's the way I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. So Angie, the first thing I talk about when we get on here is what was your milk crate moment? What is
Mm.
your big milk crate moment?
It was the first time I tried to start my freelance copywriting business. I fell into it by accident and I didn't know what I didn't know. So I had been laid off from my job in the entertainment industry. I was out in LA thinking that I was going to work in TV development, wanted to be Shonda Rhimes and create my own TV shows, be a showrunner. That didn't work out for me, unfortunately. And as I was laid off and I'm kind of increasing in desperation, subsisting on 39-cent tacos from Del Taco and wondering, what the heck am I going to do? A book popped into my head, a conversation that somebody randomly had with me in a screenwriting class. It was called The Well-Fed Writer by Peter Bowerman. And it basically talked about
Okay, hold
becoming a
on one second.
copywriter. Mhm,
1 second. Say that name again because I either I'm kind
mhm.
of slow today. So what was the name of the book?
The Well-Fed Writer by Peter Bowerman.
So The Well-Fed Writer by
Mhm.
say it one more time. Peter.
Peter Bowerman.
Yeah. I'm well fed. That's interesting, right? When you're living
Mhm.
off of 39-cent tacos.
Yes, that definitely caught my attention, and I
Yeah.
still to this day don't know, like, universe plunks that down in my head in a moment of desperation. So I went and spent 20 bucks that I didn't have at Barnes& and Noble. This is before you could get it on Amazon, and read it in an afternoon and thought, "Oh, I could do that." It makes sense to me that somebody writes the brochures and the drive time commercial ads and the videos that I see on late night TV, so I'm gonna go figure that out. So that leads to my first attempt at business. I'm like, I'm going to figure out how to be a copywriter and I'm going to figure out how to do it freelance all at the same time. That was my first mistake. Um, I tried for 10 months dropping flyers, cold calling people, signed up for Elance, which is now Upwork,
Mhm,
and all
okay.
of the freelance sites, and tried to get gigs. And I would get stuff here and there. I worked on the live production script for the Miss Black USA pageant,
Oh,
wrote that, wrote people's business plans, edited people's scripts, anything writing that people would pay me for. I took the job, but I couldn't figure out how to make ends meet. And by that time, I had moved up north to the San Jose, the Silicon Valley area.
okay.
My best friend and their partner graciously took me in and let me live on the couch. So 3 adults, 3 cats, and a baby in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment in Mountain View, California. It was pretty brutal. We did that for 10 months while I just tried everything I could to get business and to be able to get some semblance of stability without having to go through the feast and famine cycle. And long story short, 10 months into this, my best friend, we had this arrangement going in that our friendship comes first. And if it looks like our friendship is in danger, then we find a new living arrangement. Well, about 10 months in, it was time to find a new living arrangement. And they found a 2-bedroom apartment that gave them more room for their growing family. They invited me to come with and find a bigger apartment, but I couldn't afford the increased rent from living on their couch.
Sure.
So, made the incredibly hard decision to live in my car
Oh,
instead of going home to live with my family. So that's how I found myself alone in an empty apartment on a rainy night in Mountain View, California, sitting on a mattress going, "What the heck did I just do?" I let my friends move out. I got rid of everything I own. I'm gonna live in my car. What is wrong with me? Um, and in those last couple months leading up to that moment, I had taken all right, anything that teaches me how to become a better copywriter or a better marketer is good at this point, even if it means I have to go back to a job. So I think I turned in something like 300 applications, anything marketing related that would pay me to learn copywriting. I would be willing to take. And the day, this is like, it still just blows my mind and gives me goosebumps. The day that I had to turn in the keys to that empty apartment and do the walkthrough, I had to excuse myself from the walkthrough to take a phone call that had an offer for a junior copywriting role part-time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. Right? Sometimes the universe is that literally waits to the very last second, right?
Yes.
To give you the sign that it's like, okay, I see you. I see you're taking action.
Mhm.
I hear you. I feel you, right? And I'm going to reward you, but you got to finish up the action, right?
Yes.
'Cause, yeah, it's oh man. I don't think I think entrepreneurs when they have something like that happen, they think they're the only one, right?
Mhm.
That it that it doesn't I mean, they're dumbfounded. I love the fact that you say you still get goosebumps when you talk
Yes.
about that because so many people are afraid they would lose everything, everything, and
Mhm.
including being evicted from that apartment because they couldn't see the plan, and you just went for it because you knew that number 1, it sounds like you're just, in full integrity and everything, Angie, because so many people would not have left to go sleep in their car. They would have literally made the landlord kick them out. So
Yeah.
so I think that that was your reward for, like, doing the right thing.
Mhm. I was hyper prepared. I mean, I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I'm a planner. Like, I have to build things to solve my anxiety. I have to build solutions. So, I resolved to take it 1 month at a time and see what happens, and knew that the plan could always change, and I could always call the parents and go home if I needed to, but something in my gut that I still don't understand said, "Do the illogical thing and go live in your car in one of the biggest metro areas in the United States." I put what little I owned in a free for $1 or $1 for a month of storage units
Right.
and fit the rest in my car. Um, and thankfully, I didn't have to do that for more than about 2 weeks, living in the car or crashing at no-tell motels, which was an adventure, or living on other people's couches until I was able to use that first paycheck to get me into a house with wonderful housemates.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So, okay, so you took the leap, you went back and you started working as a junior copywriter. I can't imagine that that pays the big bucks, right?
No.
Okay, so tell us, finish up the story, like how you got to where you are now. Because this is a really I'm sorry, I'm finding it fascinating, so I'm asking about it because I think this is an
Yeah.
interesting story. Yeah,
I'm happy to share this because I carried a lot of, I think, unfair shame around it for a while, and now I see it as a story of triumph, of instead of indulging in the shame and holding myself back or giving up and taking it as a sign I wasn't meant to, I did what I needed to do. I
right,
recognized that I had a problem. I don't know copywriting well enough, and I don't know business well enough, so I need to solve one of these things and get paid to do it. I solved that problem by getting paid to become good at copywriting.
yeah,
And it was roughly 22 bucks an hour when I started, and I did about 20 hours a week. So that was enough to afford a room in a place that, oh, thank heavens, was half a mile away from the place that I work. So I was able to walk back and forth when I wanted to, drive on nasty days.
yeah,
Um, and I used the extra time that I had to join copywriting communities, to study the craft, to continue to try and pitch freelance business, which I landed to varying degrees of success. And the more that I learned over those couple years that I spent as a junior copywriter, the more I started to recognize which paths would take me closer to that goal of being a self sufficient business owner as a creative. And eventually, as I got really, really good at creating results, like I'm a sales focused copywriter. There are folks that do kind of the branding, jingly, progressive commercial type stuff. Mine is more focused on sales and direct marketing. And as I started to get more skilled and build up my confidence in that, I realized, okay, now it's time to address the second gap. I need to hire a coach that will help me understand what I'm missing on the business piece of it. Because obviously, I've taken it to the limit of where my skills can take me. And I need somebody outside this bottle to tell me what's on the label. I don't know what I don't know.
right.
Um, And that's how I found myself investing in a copywriting community. And then by that point, I had gotten myself a partner, but he didn't believe in me freelancing the way that I did. He saw me go from living in my car to an $80,000 a year salary. Eventually, I got a full-time job and then was running a team and was training new copywriters. Like I worked my way up
Yeah.
from nothing, from reading a book.
Okay.
Um,
So,
Go
all
ahead.
right. No, go ahead. Finish your butt.
But he didn't buy into the dream. So I got a secret credit card and invested in some mentoring to help me get the freelance business off the ground. And I set a date of December 2016 to leave the job, which I did. And when I brought my first box home, that partner was like, "Oh, you were serious about that?" Yeah, I was. I'm leaving.
So, this is, oh man, I have so much to say about what you just said, right?
Mm,
Because the fact is you had to get a secret credit card, right? And were you guys married?
no, thankfully not. We did buy a condo together, but we managed to. Surprise, surprise! I am no longer with this person because he's not a very supportive partner, and we disentangled. We're all good
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, it's so interesting, especially because you weren't married, that you felt like you needed to get a secret credit
Mhm.
card, right? So that you could get what you need. Oh my gosh, for all the women out there, listen, I know you hear me. I know the women out there should never have to ask for permission to become who they are meant to be. Would you not agree?
I absolutely agree, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I didn't know how deep I wanted to go into that, but I glossed over it at a high level because that was a very abusive relationship that I was in.
Okay.
And when I ultimately did leave, it was to people going, "Oh my gosh, that's how he treated you, and that's not okay. That's not normal."
Right.
And I went on to volunteer on a crisis intervention hotline for domestic violence for a long
Oh,
time
I'm so
because of that.
sorry. I had no idea that that happened to you. So I'm so sorry that that did. And
Mhm.
um,
Happens to a lot of people. That's why I'm glad that you
no,
mentioned that. You don't have to ask for permission.
no woman should ever have to ask for permission. I don't care how great your relationship is. You should never have to ask for permission to become the woman that God created you to be. Right? Oh my God, this is one of those things that lights me up as far as, and I'm just really, I guess, lucky that I have had a husband for the last 43 years who supports the crap out of me. As to
Mm.
the point where I said, maybe once in a while it would be okay to tell me no, right? Maybe once in a while. Just sometimes maybe somebody should just fact check me or something, right? But I've never had to do that, and I felt when I first started investing in myself, I did feel that. Not that
Mhm.
he ever said anything, not that he'd ever done anything, but I think it is a female thing that we feel bad about wanting to take care of ourselves when
Yes.
our role is to take care of him and then any children and then parents. And we get left to the very end and we ended up 60 years old and trying to restart our lives, right?
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. So I'm glad that you're not there. I'm glad you're obviously not 60 years old,
Yeah.
and right? But oh my God, Angie, I'm so sorry that happened because I'm so proud of you for getting the secret credit card.
Me too.
Huge.
Like, that taught me and the following my gut and living in the car taught me that, okay, there's a little voice in there that knows better than me. And even if I don't really understand why this needs to happen, I am trusting that every time that voice pops up and says something that doesn't make any darn sense whatsoever, go live in your car. Take out a secret credit card. You can do it. That there's a reason. There's something here that's going to connect and it will make sense. And sure enough, I went through that training and it's fine because I had the day job. So I could only go to like half of the training calls and I'd have to book conference rooms with locking doors and like sneak away to take some of these calls, these coaching calls. But the work that I did do, even though I wasn't able to do all of it, was enough to create a relationship with this mentor of mine. He could see my skills, he could see my dedication. I was able to talk to him deeper about my goals. He was able to help connect me to freelance projects that helped me build up the savings so that I could leave again and have more of a cushion this time. So it all worked out the way it did. And I had to learn to trust my gut, even though it doesn't quite make sense.
Oh my God. Well, that is such an amazing story, and I'm so glad that you came out okay on the other end of it.
Me too.
And so one last question, then we're going to talk about what you do. But so are you still teaching copywriting or helping copyright or writing copy, or what are you doing now with your copywriting?
I have actually a small well, it's not a group program. It's an individual program I call email marketing in an hour, or marketing emails in an hour. It's very new. So, but I learned in my time running an agency team that email marketing really seems to be a challenging for a lot of people. And I don't want to write anymore, but I love helping people find the right stories and the right strategy. And the way we did it with the agency was I would ask a whole bunch of questions and get you to tell your stories in your own voice, and then take what you said and turn it into an email. And we could do that pretty quickly, usually within an hour. So that's something that I've been working on behind the scene with a small group of, I would say, copy interested business owners who, for whatever reason, can't afford to bring on, a full-time copywriter or a contractor yet, but are still interested in writing their own emails. I do work with people in that capacity. For the rest of the time, I just spend my time helping people build their businesses and understand how marketing fits into the bigger business picture.
Yeah, storytelling is such, and as a matter of fact, isn't it so funny how everybody's talking about storytelling now, right?
Hmm.
It's every place you go. But it's true. Nobody wants to be sold to. We all want to just be told a great story,
Yeah.
right? Which is why I love doing what I do, because I think every story that comes here, and yours is fascinating to me. I probably could go on and talk to you about this for another hour, but I just think that it's number one, copywriting is so important. I think every
It is.
entrepreneur should be, I think there should be some sort of academy that says, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you better learn how to write copy,
Hmm.
right? As just like you would learn how to balance your checkbook, you better know how to write some basic copy. So,
Yes.
listen, so it sounds like Angie has a basic copywriting class or
Hmm.
course, right? Reach out to her. Reach
Yes.
out to her for that. So let's first of all, before we talk about your business, how can they reach out to you?
You can reach out to me at Angie@permissiontokickass.com. I answer all the
Angie
emails myself. Yep.
at permission to kick ass.co.
.com. Yep.
Let me add that, and then let me see if I can figure out how to get it up there. I'm gonna just let's say show it there. Let's do that. Show it.
Fancy streaming controls. Yep.
Whoa,
That's me.
did I spell it everything right? Permission to
Yes.
podcast.com. Right. And
Perfect.
I think you kind of know that, and people who know me know that the fact that it says kick ass, right? That is definitely speaks to my heart. And so let's talk about what a badass you are.
Oh, thank you. Well, we met at the Badass Business Summit, so it's
We did
definitely
meet there.
mutual.
We did meet there. And yeah, it was full of a lot of badasses, right?
Hmm.
So so in your business, what is it that you're doing for small business owners right now?
I am working with them to help them understand the balance in their business. There's three main pillars to a successful business, and that is people, process, and profit. And if one of those is wonky, your little business table is going to fall over. Um, I struggled for a long time to find my place in business because I was always trying to find the one thing to fix. And what I really want to help people understand, especially creative people who have this story they tell themselves about, I'm not good at business, but I'm really good at this skill I have, is if you pull on one lever, how does this affect the others? And what can we do in a simple way to get these things working together so that I can move forward? Um, so that's what I do. I help with a lot of streamlining, simplicity, turning the assets that you've already had into revenue streams so
Mhm.
that you don't have to make this more complicated than it is.
Oh my gosh. I think making money in business is the easiest thing there is out there, right?
Hmm.
And it's the part that people struggle with the most. So yeah, I'm so glad that there's right. I can't handle
Hmm.
them all, Angie. I'm saving some for you.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing because before we went live, we were talking about, business coaches and competition. And I was like, oh, there's more than enough business for everybody out here. We can all help each other. Plus, marketers and creative people are info junkies, and they're usually working with like three or four coaches at the same time. So I was like, heck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, depends, right?
Yeah.
So, and I here's the other thing too is I'm super. Do you have a coach now?
I do. I have three.
I only have one, but she's I pay a shit ton of money for her, and she's amazing. So,
Mm,
but I think that I want to say that too for people who are listening, because if you're going to a coach, the first question you should ask that coach is, do you have a coach?
mhm.
Because I think you're out of integrity if you don't.
Yes.
Right? If you don't have a coach and you're claiming to be a coach, you damn well better have a coach.
Mhm. We all have blind spots. That's
Oh
exactly
my
what a
God.
coach can help you with, is getting out of your own way and to eliminate the roadblocks that are holding you back. So,
Yeah.
why would you wanna work with a coach who's like, "Nope, roadblocks for me, but not for you."
You know what? It's so interesting that we're talking about this because on last week at my event, I made one call to my coach that the return on that call was 5 times what I pay her.
Mhm.
Right. And she's not cheap. Let me just say, she is not cheap. She's in the fif higher 5 digits. So,
Mhm.
um, definitely everybody should have a coach and work with a coach. So, I'm super excited that you're here. Alright, so do you have a freebie or anything you wanna give away, or is there something, like at your is there anything at permissiontokickass.com that they could sign up for?
I have got my book coming out. It'll be released the week right after Thanksgiving, actually, November 27th. That book is also called Permission to Kick Ass, and it's everything I wish I had known the first time I tried to go freelance, from the mindset issues to the tactical business getting strategies. So I will have that information on the site by the end of the week as we're recording this now. It's available for pre-order on Amazon as a Kindle right now. And yeah, I have a podcast also called Permission to Kick Ass, which we've got you coming on in 2024. I
Have
like
we
to
set
talk.
a date?
We have not yet because I'm on a wait list right now, but
Okay.
we like to talk about some similar stuff, what it's like actually growing a business when people aren't putting on their polished professional look at my hockey stick growth. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I love it. All right, Angie, is there anything else you want to add to this conversation? Because I feel like you've got super great stories and that you can talk about. And
Thank you.
yeah, well,
That means so much coming from you.
if you have another story, listen, I'm here to hear. I'm here to hear. Listen.
Oh, I've got so many stories. I would take up, like, the rest of your day.
Well, then we'll schedule you in 2024 to come
Yeah.
back and tell, because listen, I know entrepreneurs have more than one milk crate moment, right?
Yes.
And that's
Oh,
why I called it
absolutely.
that, right? Because I had, well, you have, I don't know, I've had 3 so far this week. So, so
I think I've had, like, 4 or 5 in the last year, to the point where I joked about maybe my next book is called A Series of Unfortunate Decisions.
I love that. I love that. It's a series of unfortunate decisions. That is such a book for entrepreneurs, right?
Right?
Definitely.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because you're gonna make the wrong decision from time to time. So I guess
It
if I
doesn't
were
matter
to
how
end
many
it.
coaches you have, right?
Yes. You
Yeah.
could be a veritable expert and still make a mistake, and you just have to trust that you will be able to figure it out, and maybe the mistake that was made, or the thing that happens that feels like a setback, was actually trying to point you in the right direction. So trust yourself. That's the way I would wrap this up.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, you know what? That's the way I asked somebody. So I'm gonna ask you to give us one more. If you had to give entrepreneurs one piece of advice, what is your biggest piece of advice you can give an entrepreneur?
I would say that's exactly it. Trust your instincts and understand that you're going to learn more by going forward in your own way and learning, for better or for worse, right? Whatever happens, than you will by abdicating your own personal responsibility because you don't feel like you're enough. Like, there will always be.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. There
Like
will always be.
every Mac item is lights up when my phone goes off.
Yeah, gotta
No,
love it.
go ahead and finish your thought, because it was really, really, and I go ahead and finish your thought.
Oh, yeah. There's always gonna be another program, there's always gonna be another course, there's always gonna be some piece of marketing out there that makes you feel like you're missing something, but
Yes.
you're going to be finding success much more authentically, much faster, if you just do things the way that you feel like you should do them, and learn from there.
And realize that failure is not a bad thing. It's not a bad word,
Mhm.
right? Failure is not fatal.
It's part of the process, and
It
it's an
is
event, it's
process.
not your identity.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's part of the process. It's not your identity. Oh my God, because the more you fail, the faster you fail, the faster
Yes.
you make money. Right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for being here. I am so excited. And listen, for you really brought my energy level right up. So I'm so excited
Yay.
to do this call today. So have a lovely weekend and a great Thanksgiving. And we'll talk again, hopefully in 2024.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.